What's up, everyone? It is your girl GLBeauty 87 here, aka Grace. It's child. It's time for the worst makeup of 2023. So these are the products that I wasn't impressed with. I thought sucked. I thought were bad. Like, you know, like if I could get my money back, I would, because they just not giving it. I'm not living now. One of these I think I tried this year, but I don't think it came out this year. I'm not 100% sure on one particular thing, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So without further ado, let's get into it, girl, because it's me, so I'm going to talk for a real long time. So let's start off with this, what is this? Flower Beauty by Drew. This is the color corrector in Deep Peach. I thought this was terrible. I don't feel like this is deep at all. Like, at best, this is medium. So where is this a Deep Peach? And then I feel like it's real cakey and thick when you put it on underneath the eyes, and it didn't really do too much and just kind of like look streaky and smeared away to nothing. So I was not impressed with this product by a long shot. I have a whole bunch of other color correctors that I think could do a whole lot better. Like the Sigma one I just received in PR this year is really good. I like the Becca one since they finally came out with one for my skin tone. And then I like the what is the other one I have? I like the Nars one that they came out with, and they just extended their shade range while she over here talking about this Deep Peach. Deep Peach where? What peach is that deep? Because the regular colored peach is deeper than that. So where's that deep? Child, they out here with this foolishness playing these games. I told y'all they out here with this foolishness playing these games. Anyway, let's go on to the next thing. So this topical sealed active scar primer. I just wasn't a fan of it. But in all fairness, I'm not a fan of silicone based primers. So, I don't know. I just felt like this didn't do anything for me. And y'all know I have, like, you know, acne prone skin. And I get, like, cyst acne from time to time. So, I thought this would be good for me. But it's like, I didn't feel like it really served any purpose or did anything. Like, it was just meh. Like, if I didn't have my collection, I'd be fine. I have my collection and I don't really care for it. So, it's like, you know, if I could get my money back on this, I definitely would. Because it's just meh. I don't know. It's meh. Next thing, I tried this out this year too. This is the Wet n Wild 5-in-1 Essence Primer and Finishing Powder. I just feel like this was really dry on the skin. Like, for a primer, it's very dry. But I guess this probably should have been used more as a finishing powder, because they had a liquid version as well that I found out later after I bought this one. So I just wasn't impressed with this. I thought it was terrible, and you got to think, this is on a finishing powder. Some of my skin tone is not cutting it. So I really stopped messing with Wet n Wild, but I wanted to give this a try. But like, they taking more Physicians formula route, if you all haven't noticed, and I'm not here for it. So I'm probably just going to give this to my cousins and see if they want to use it or just throw it away. Because I really just was not impressed at all. It was not giving at all. I have another primer. So this is the Rich Beauty Protect and Prime Serum. I wasn't impressed with this. I mean, I have a lot of sticky bases, and to me that's all this was. I didn't see any true benefit of it, and since I already have products like this, I wasn't impressed enough with this to, you know, like, put it as a great thing. It was disappointing compared to some of the other ones I have, and I just feel like it's lacking. So I don't personally like it. If I remember correctly, I think my girl Stephanie of Bath Beauty likes it. That's one of the things we do disagree on, because I'm like, I don't get it. I don't see what's so wonderful about it. I wasn't impressed. What is it? Oh, yeah, that's why it's in. Okay, so next I have the Rare Beauty Positive Light Tinted Moisturizer. Now, this one is just a personal preference type thing. It's not necessarily the formula is bad. It's just, y'all know I need coverage. This ain't giving no coverage. Even when you blend it with other products, it's still not getting any coverage. So I feel like this just is for people who like Your Skin But Better vibes, and y'all know I've never been a Your Skin But Better vibes. We need to be and if it is, it still needs to be medium to full coverage, and this is like light coverage, so that's why it's not giving to me. Plus I bought a shade that was too dark, but I mixed it in with other stuff and it works just fine for that. It's just like on its own, as a product on its own, I would not recommend it. I'm just not that impressed with it. Next I have the Rose Inc Soft Light Skin Smoothing Liquid Foundation. I have the shade 26N Deep Neutral. I am not impressed with this product at all. I do not like this foundation. I think it is terrible. Tina the Fancy Face said she didn't like it either. I think she returned hers though. I think I waited too long to return mine. I didn't keep the box or something happened with it. I don't know. But I'm not impressed with this foundation. So I'm thinking maybe I can mix this in with the Rare Beauty one in the summertime and get some use out of it that way. Or mix it in with one I really do like in order to like find a use for it since it's in my collection. But yeah, no, this sucks. Like, I think this is terrible. It's supposed to be for people I think with acne prone skin like myself, and it was not giving. it was terrible. It just, yeah, it was terrible. I got a couple of concealers to talk about. So I have this Lips Tinted what is it, Hue Skin Serum Concealer in the shade 6. My issue with this is the applicator. So if the formula of this isn't bad, it's just, if y'all remember, like the brush is like defective or something, because like the brush hairs were literally coming off on my face when I did my concealer, if you all saw in like the video. The second time I used it, like the brush hairs, it totally just screwed up. So it's like, the product isn't bad itself. I actually like the product, but like I don't want brushes coming out, the hairs and the brushes coming out on my face every time I try to do my concealer. Like, so that was a huge turn off for me, which is why I really detest this product. So if they come out with better brushes in the future, I might be willing to try it again, but just like as of right now, I want no parts of it. It's just a no. It's a hell no. It's a no. Next I have the Amy Coley concealer, skin enhancing concealer. I have the shade Deep 25. The applicator on this is a little flimsy, and to me this just doesn't give enough coverage. So I feel like this applicator is going to end up like the Kosas one for me and the Catrice one, where it's just going to pop off from me having general use in it. But yeah, I don't know. The formula on this, there wasn't enough going on with it. You put it on and then it blends away to nothing. I don't care how much I put on it, it just blended away to nothing. So I just was not impressed with this product at all. So that's my personal opinion on that. My battery's trying to die, y'all, because I guess it's tired of me talking smack. But it's like I got more smack to talk. So we're going to go get another one and move on to the rest of these products, because I still got a whole stack of like eyeshadows and eye products, as sad as that is. But hold on a second. Okay, y'all, on to the rest of the stuff in this box. So let's move on to the blushes. So now these are great for somebody who likes a sheer blush. I personally don't like a sheer blush. That's why it's in the worst for me. So some of these things are just based upon preference, not that the product is necessarily bad. If you like the Hourglass blushes, I feel like this could be a good alternative for you. Just keep in mind, you're going to have to build this up way more than you do the Hourglass blushes, just because, you know, it's an affordable product. So that's just something to keep in mind when it comes to this. However, the quality of them is nice. It's just, I don't want to have to sit there for 40 minutes to build up blush. So that's my issue with these. It's like, I'd rather just use the Hourglass palettes that I already have as opposed to this. But if you're willing to take the time to build them up, I feel like you'll like them. I'm just not a fan of sitting there for 20 minutes building up blush. I got places going, things to do, not time to be sitting up building up blushes. I probably should have did the setting powders next. Oh well. We've already started talking about this, so it's too late. Next I have these Blush Mellow blushes from Beauty. I know a lot of people like these. I like them okay. It's just like, compared to other formats in my collection, I feel like there are other things that are much better. I mean, I guess you could say these are one of those that's okay for the price point, but I'm just not a fan of them, so that's why they ended up in here. I think I'm actually going to send these to my cousins after I get done with this video, but I'm trying to debate and see if I should just keep one just so I can have like a drugstore reference to refer to people. I don't know, but I just wasn't a huge fan of these. I know for the other content creators talking about them saying they were nice, which is the reason I picked them up, but I don't know, I just wasn't impressed the way they were, thus it being in this video. Okay, so next I have this Flower Beauty Flower Beauty Low Light Liquid Corrector. I have this, contour. I have the shade Deep. I wasn't impressed with this. I know Andrea Montanaro said she actually liked it. I wasn't impressed. If you all remember, like I put this on, tried to blend it out, and it would not blend out. And when it did blend out, it looked really streaky and was kind of like patchy in certain places. So that's why I personally was not a fan of this. This is one I definitely see myself getting rid of. I'm not even gonna try to hold on and finish it, even though Flower Beauty is more expensive drugstore product. So I was kind of upset that it didn't do more for the money, since it does cost more than other things. Like I feel like the e.l.f. one does better than this one, and the fact that, you know, this one didn't do as good and cost more is a problem for me. So this was definitely a letdown. If you all remember that video, you know what I'm talking about. Like I tried to blend it out and it was not moving, and I was like, oh hell no. And then it looked patchy. It was just a whole mess. It was just a whole mess. Next I have the e.l.f. Halo Glow Beauty Wand blushes. Now I was not a fan of the blushes. I like the highlighter and I like the contour, but the blushes just didn't do it for me. I don't know if it's because they're shimmery blushes. I don't know if it's the colors that they chose, because I think they only have one color for people my skin tone. It's a berry one, of course, because you know berry tones work best for people my skin tone. But I just didn't want necessarily a glittery berry tone liquid blush, so I don't know. I ended up with the shade Rose You Slay. I just wasn't impressed with the formula of the blushes. The formula, the highlighter, and the contour or bronzer, whichever one you prefer to call it, it's fine. I just wasn't impressed with this one, so this is why it is in this video. Next, we have the blush stick from McGrath. I just felt like this isn't even enough color payoff for me. But in all fairness, I didn't get like a deeper tone. I got the shade Divine Rose. Y'all know that's more of her like mauve-ish tone shade. And this didn't show up that well on some of my skin tone. I figured maybe if I got a darker one, it'll look better. But it's like, I just don't like the formula on this. I feel like it's sheer, and I felt like it didn't do too much of anything for me, so that's why I had to put it in here. Unfortunately, y'all know I love Mother, but it's like I gotta be honest with her just like I am with everybody else, and that was not it. Okay, next I have this Flower Beauty Plump Up Gloss Stick. What shade is this one? This is in the shade Sizzle. I do have one I like better. It's just this shade didn't particularly work out for me that well. This is what it looks like. It's supposed to be like more mauve-ish tone shade, but I feel like when they put it on, it didn't look like too much of anything. I didn't see too much of mauve or anything like that. Whereas there's more one that's more nude toned that I have that I like a whole lot better. So that's why this one got put in there. Plus, I don't feel like it did any plumping. Not that my lips need plumping, but I'm like, for people who do need plumping, I don't feel like this did too much of any plumping. Or even looked plumping. I can understand if it gave like the juicy effect and made your lips look more plump, even if they didn't plump them per se. But I feel like this didn't even do that for me, so that's why it was a disappointing product. Next, I have the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Perfector in the shade Dark. So this is supposed to be like a finishing powder slash bronzer situation, but I don't like the fact it has one random shimmer part and then one random bronzer part. I'd prefer they just made this like a finishing powder, kind of like the one that NYX had, that a high glow. I feel like if this had been a version of the NYX high glow, I'd have liked it a whole lot better. But the fact that you're supposed to be able to use a bronzer or just use this, like swirl it all together and make it a finishing powder on your face, it's like, if I don't necessarily want that glittery effect of a finishing powder on my face, then I don't think I necessarily would like this. So I don't like this because I don't like it. They're trying to make it a multi-purpose product. I originally was trying to use it just as bronze at the bottom and maybe like use this part as a highlighter, but it's like I already have products like that, so to me this just was like a bust. I really like the cream blush and cream bronzer they came out with this though. I couldn't remember if that came out this year or last year. That was the product I was telling you all about, because I'm like, I'm not 100% sure. I feel like it came out this year though. So I got a couple of setting powders to talk about. So I'm gonna start off with this one, the Jason Wu setting powder. Sorry, Ready Set Matte setting powder. I bought this based upon the recommendation of Babs Beauty here on YouTube, but like it didn't work out for me the way it worked out for her. But it could be because of my skin tone, because this to me seems like more of a like very lightish yellowish beige powder, and powders like these don't always work out for people my skin tone. So I felt like this didn't work out for me as well as I was hoping it. I was kind of disappointed by it because she's raving about how much she liked it, and I normally like her recommendations, but this was another one of her recommendations that just didn't work out for me. So the rich beef primer and this powder did not work out for me. Next, I have the Milani Conceal and Perfect Translucent Powder. I liked it the first time I tried it, but I don't feel like it did too much of any type of blurring. And I feel like I have other powders that are translucent that I like better. This one just was disappointing. I mean, like, I feel like it's okay for the drugstore and what it is, but it's like, just don't expect it to blur, because I feel like it definitely did not blur. It's really finely milled though and thin if you like powders like that. I just don't really reach for translucent powders that often, and when I did use this one, I wasn't impressed enough to pick it back up again. Like, it just wasn't doing it for me. So this was a disappointment from the drugstore. And Milani, I usually like a good majority of products, but every once in a while they'll like let me down. That was one that definitely let me down. So last face product I have to talk about is the Rick and Morty X Glam Light Setting Spray. Y'all know this shot out crazy, and I just feel like it didn't do a good job of holding makeup. Now, I didn't say it was supposed to help your makeup stay mattified and hold on and anything like that. So it wasn't like it gave a whole bunch of claims of making makeup last all day or setting makeup down and having a matte finish or anything like that. It was just one of the things that they put in the collection, and I just wasn't impressed with. So there's that. So let me throw all this crap back in the box real quick. Well, the stuff I'm taking home, I guess I shouldn't throw in the box, but like these can stay. That will give it away. I might take this home and try it again. I'll take these home and try it again. Well, I gotta keep these for reference and video, so this can stay. I'll take this home and try it again. So the concealers, I think I'm just gonna leave here so they go back in the box. Okay, so we got all that stuff out the way. These things can go home. Now I'm gonna dig down here. We're gonna start on these eyeshadow palettes, honey, because I got it. Oh yeah, we getting rid of this. I'll give them that too. I'll leave this up. Now I got a few eye products, and I'm talking about like it's a nice little stack of eyeshadow palettes here and other eye things. So we're gonna start off with this About Face. What are these called? Fractual eye paints. So this is the shade. What shade is this one? This is all about the Benjamins. This is the one I was most excited about and disappointed me the most. I just felt like the color wasn't doing it for me compared to some of her other ones. So this is what it looks like. I don't feel like swatching all this stuff because I'm trying to get out of here before 2 o'clock. So this is what the color looks like. I was a little disappointed by it, to be honest. And I usually like her stuff like this. There's another color that I got that I like better. So with that one, I was just kind of disappointed. Next, there is this Tidal Wave eye quad from ColourPop. If y'all remember, like the I think it was like the dark shade was patchy on the outer V, or the blue shade was, one of these shades was like really bad and made me really despise this quad, because y'all know I love colors like this. So I have like 2 or 3 these same type of quads from ColourPop just because I like them that much. But this one was definitely a letdown and very disappointing. I don't remember if it was this shade that was just really patchy in the crease and didn't want to go on, or if this shade was on the outer V and really bad. I just remember one of these 2 shades that here at the bottom was really bad because the shimmers were fine, and that's what turned me off from this quad, because I was like, oh, So I'm going to get that with my cousins and they can figure out what they want to do with it. But I'm like, what I'm not about to do is even waste my time. Let me just put this away. I'm trying to put the stuff away that I know I need. Next, I have the Pat McGrath Pat McGrath Fetish Eyes Long Wear Liquid Eyeshadow. I was disappointed by these because there's like, you know, other ones that you can get out there that are great quality that don't cost as much. And the colors that she did weren't revolutionary to the point where, you know, you had to have hers above other people. So I was disappointed by that. Here's what the color looks like if you want a close up. But yeah, so this is not it. And I failed my goal of 2 o'clock because it's 2 o'clock now. And I still got a stack of eyeshadow palettes here. But hopefully we can get out before 2:30 and be good with that. But yeah, so I was disappointed by this. I mean, obviously I'm going to keep it because it's Pat McGrath and I can reference it in videos and stuff. But I was definitely disappointed in like the formula. Well, not the formula, just the fact that these were so much for what they actually were. I guess that's what it comes down to for me. Like, she charged a whole lot for this and it wasn't even like all in. This is actually what's on my eyes right now. So this is the House Labs Volume 2, the Super Neutrals. It's on one of my eyes. I compared it to her original Stupid Love palette because that was the only palette I had from the brand. But this is what it looks like. The pink is okay. My issue is these mattes. Like, these mattes don't really work for anybody my skin tone. Aside from the fact that she tried to do like the cream to powder formula like Natasha Denona does. But they don't get darker in the crease when you put them on and build them up the way Natasha's do. So that's another like downfall for this for me. Because I like the shimmers just fine. They're okay. But it's like I still need mattes to do with this. And like for $50 you need to become something better than this. So this was a total absolute letdown, and I do not recommend it at all. Just absolutely not, girl. Don't. I mean, it's better at the price point of $24.50, but I don't even know if I feel like you should pay that for it, because if you're my skin tone and you wanted this one with the bright pink in it, you don't expect any of the mattes to actually work out for your skin tone or your favor. As you can see, like, it looks quite ashy and light up there, and you can't even tell I got a transition shade on, and the outer V isn't giving too much. So I don't personally recommend it, but to each his own, do as you please. I'm just not gonna tell you to buy it. Next I have what is this, Electric Cherry from Tom Ford. I was just disappointed that it wasn't their wet to dry formula. If I remember correctly, this is not that for the price point, because I'm like, I love the colors of this and I think the shadows looked nice. It's just I wanted a more impactful color for the price point, because this is like $90. So it's like I feel like you need to be giving me more color and be more impactful for $90, and it just was not doing that at all. So I was completely disappointed by that. Not the quality, just the fact that, you know, it didn't give more pigmentation for the price point. I gotta find the box for that in a minute. Next I got the Lavish palette from ColourPop. Now I did change one of the shades out here to make it more wearable for me, but like I don't know, the mattes in here seemed like they were hard to work with, and then like the shimmers, they look nice, but it's like I need a good matte foundation to go with the shimmers, and I feel like it wasn't given that. I feel like it gave me the same thing the Amethyst palette gave me, and it wasn't like good quality. As you can see, this is the shade I added because it's quite stunning and beautiful. So I'm going to keep it. It's just more if it was a huge, sorry y'all, all the boxes just fell off. It was a huge, huge, huge disappointment when it came to the quality of it. And I think Angie said she had the same issue with this palette just like I did. So I don't know what's going on with these ColourPop palettes lately, but like I feel like they're doing a lot of hit and miss, and it's more hit and miss than it used to be, which I'm kind of not feeling, because I'm like, for the price y'all charging these people, you know, like we don't need to be having a whole bunch of hit and miss. Like I understand you having hit and miss from time to time, but the fact that you going up on these little palettes and they almost $20 and I'm just having hit and miss quality, like, no, I'm not feeling that. So next, I have the Charlotte Tilbury, the Beauty Verse palette. If y'all remember, I wasn't impressed with the mattes in here. I feel like they didn't go as deep as I was hoping they would for some of my skin tones. So I personally wasn't impressed. The shimmers in here, some of them were like, you know, like that, what is it, the Topper S type vibes, which y'all know I'm not a really huge fan of either. The silver in here was the only decent, like, came for the shimmer for the most part. I think it was the silver and this purple underneath here, and maybe this gold, but overall for the price point she charges this for $75, it was not impressive. I don't know why I'm saying she. We both know, if you all didn't know, that Charlotte Tilbury sold her brand to someone else, so she's just like the face of the brand. She doesn't actually own the brand anymore, so like I just was not impressed with this at all for the price that I had to pay. I mean, I got mine on sale for I think like 15% off because I used Morgan Turner's code. She had 10 or 15% off on her code. I actually have a code with the brand now myself, but like I don't know. I just was not impressed with that palette at all. So next I have Raspberry Kisses from Sydney Grace. Now I'm not saying Sydney Grace quality isn't good. It's just you all have to remember this came out at the same time the latest Mothership palette came out, and it's like the pigmentation on this brown wasn't as deep as that one, and then it had the special shades in it too. So compared to that one with this color story, it's just like I have the Pat McGrath one, so I really don't need this one. This to me is like a muted version of that color story, and then this one isn't here because of the quality. It's just, well, I mean, I guess of the like quality of the deeper tones because they didn't run as deep as I would prefer. So this one is just more preference. Like I told y'all, some of the things in here are preference, and to me, like the Pat McGrath one is better than this one. Not to mention it comes with those special shades or whatever, but it does come with a hefty price tag, so it should come with special shades. If you're into that color story but don't want to spend as much, I feel like you would like this one. It's just don't expect that deep brown to be super deep the way I was hoping it would be. So that's why it's in here. Like I feel like Pat McGrath one just did it better, but for the price point, Pat McGrath should have been doing it better. I'm just saying. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to keep this or give it to my cousins or not, because I already have some Sydney Grace singles that I like, and the Temptalia palettes, and Tina's palette, and then the late great Mel Thompson's palette. So I think I'm actually going to give that one to my cousins or put it on my Macari, so we'll see. Next I have the Natasha Denona Love Face palette. We all know this was going to be in here because this palette was not giving at all. Like, the blush in here is a weird tone. Mine didn't dry up, and the color just doesn't necessarily work for people my skin tone, so that's my whole issue with it. The highlighter is okay, but it's like she has better individual highlighters on their own. The eyeshadows work just fine, but it's like I'm supposed to be grading the palette as a whole, and since this takes up a lot of space in the palette, and there's supposed to be things I'm supposed to be able to use in the palette, and the fact that I can't was an issue to me. So the eyeshadow quality is okay. The blush is not for me. The highlight isn't for me, and since this is supposed to be graded as a whole face and eye palette, like the fact that half the stuff isn't that great in here is why it is in this video, because you know it's not giving all it can give if all the stuff doesn't work in it. The original one she did a way better job with, so maybe just get the first two she originally came out with. So next, I feel like y'all should have known this was gonna be in here. This is the Melt Electric palette. I was not impressed with this at all. However, if you what is it, the Mystic Garden from Give Me Glow, if you already own this, you don't need that because they're literally the exact same color story. I think one or two shades are different when it comes to matte versus shimmer, but otherwise it's the same palette, so you don't really need it, girl. You just don't. You just don't. But yeah, so I am disappointed with this for sure. Like they started doing that. You have to build up pigmentation on the palettes too. So I really don't like you have to build up the pigmentation of the mattes now as well. I liked how they were pigmented out the gate in the past. So the color story is nice. It's just the formula isn't that great, and like it's mediocre color story for like the price point that they charge for their palettes. I'm gonna just get both the Too Faced palettes out the way. I know a lot of people actually like the Italian Spritz. I wasn't impressed with it compared to like other stuff I have from Too Faced in the past. And this Cosmic Crushes, I told y'all, even at 50% off, don't buy it. Cause child, it's not giving. The only shade I cared about was like this one and this one, this one. That's why I waited till like on sale for like 50% off, and then I was like, I'll try it then. But I just was not impressed with the form of this at all. Like, I plan on actually getting rid of this and just giving it to my cousins after this video. I think when it comes to the Italian Spritz, I think I might have just been more irritated with the fact that like mine showed up with like this shade broken, and then they told me I have to wait to get it again. after they sent it back, whatever. But even so, I don't feel like the quality of this was just as great as it could have been for the price point that they charged. So I'm just kind of like, what are y'all seeing that I'm not seeing? Because the look I got of it was just mediocre, and I'm like, for the price point they charged for this palette at regular price, like, it shouldn't be no mediocre. And to me, it's just mediocre. So I don't know. I guess I'm just so used to indie brands now, so I'm like, high-end brands aren't necessarily doing it for me anymore. It either has to be like luxury, where I know they're gonna like put in the work because I had to pay so much more, or it's gonna be more like you know, an indie brand. I'm really not trying to mess with any of these other brands. I think I'm gonna hold on to it for a little bit though, just to like try it out again and see if it's just me or what. But you know, okay, y'all, we down to the last few palettes. So next I have Jungle Roar from J-Cat Beauty. I did like the color story of this palette. Okay, it's just, I don't know, I guess I felt like, because I feel like Andrea Montanaro hyped them up so much, and then when I got this palette I was like, why she do all that? It's just okay. But I have to remind myself, like, this is a drugstore palette. But even still, like, for the price point of this, I just felt like it wasn't that great. I mean, it's good for the drugstore. It's one of those type of palettes where it's like, it's good quality for the drugstore, but I don't see it as a standout or it being so wonderful for, like, you know, being a drugstore palette the way I felt like people were hyping it up. So that's just my personal opinion. That's why it's in here, because it's like, I felt like I was lied to. Like, I was hyped up for this to be such a wonderful, amazing palette, and then when I got it, I was like, oh, okay, that's it. Like, oh, okay. But in all fairness, she did say the ones in the plastic containers were great, and as you can see, this is one of the bigger cardboard ones. So it could just be that I should have got one of the plastic ones like she said, and then maybe I'd feel the way she does. But it's like, I don't, because I just wasn't impressed with the quality for what I feel like I paid for that palette. Next, I have the Lunar Beauty and Laura Lee Los Angeles Full Fantasy palette. I don't know. I guess, I don't know if it's because I had the Glam Light one first. I saw Glaminatrix one first, but I feel like this one was just okay. Like, I feel like this isn't their normal standard quality of eyeshadow from Lunar Beauty. I don't know if they used Laura's formula or they mixed both the formulas together to make a formula for this palette. But I was not impressed with the formula on this palette at all. Like, I feel like I have other formulas in my collection that do a way better job. So I feel like this definitely is not the same formula that he used for the Siren Sunset palette, because I don't know what's going on with this one, but this is definitely not giving compared to what that was giving. So I was disappointed in this one personally, just because I was like, I was thinking it was going to be more like Manny's traditional formula, which I can get down with and I like. But to me, this seems like it's a hybrid of like both the formulas that they use or something like that, because it's like, it's not the original Lunar Beauty formula. Like, it's just not. It was not giving that at all. And I could tell when I was like using it for the one time I did use it, just to get a feel for it. Because I was going to compare it to like my Glaminatrix one for the people who had the Glaminatrix one. But I was like, I don't even like it enough to do that. Like, it's just not giving. I'm not living. Okay, y'all, we got 2 more palettes left. So I have the Nomad Cosmetics Verona Amor Immorte palette. So this one, it had really hard pressed shimmers in it that I wasn't personally a fan of. I still am grateful and appreciative to Dionluvsmakeup who sent this to me. You can use code Dion at Nomad. But yeah, she gave me her PR palette because a lot of, if you can see, like, there's black marks on them. A lot of them are pressed pigments that she couldn't use on her eyes. So once she like did her swatch video for you all of the stuff she could swatch and the eye look she could do, she just sent it over to me so that way I could actually like give y'all a tutorial on to use like both sides and use all the colors and everything. But these shimmers hard pan quite easily. As you can see, I don't know if y'all can see, but there's hard pan on that one up there. And then I think there was hard pan on this one and this one right here. So a good majority of the shimmers in my palette are hard panned, and I wasn't really feeling that too much. So that's what honestly knocked this palette down for me, because I like the color story of it and I like the dark to light situation. And I've made 2 really nice eye looks in it, although I'm not really that crazy about the monochromatic side, because it just reminds me of the cherry on top palette from BH Cosmetics. But the hard pan shimmers in here is really what put this palette in here. Like, if the shimmers had in the hard pan, it probably would have been, I mean, it wouldn't have been in the best category for my videos, but you just wouldn't have seen it. I wouldn't have been talking badly about it, basically. So it's just hopefully they can fix that hard pan situation with their shimmers, because I heard that the one that's a good dupe for the Yucca palette, I heard it had hard pan on the shimmers as well. So I'm just kind of like, what's going on with them in the hard pan on these shimmers? I know in Earthly had that going on a while ago that you all have been telling me about in the past too. So I don't know if because they changed formulas from time to time, that's what's going on with the hard pan and with the shimmers or what. But because of the hard pan and those shimmers, it knocked it down quite a bit. The last one I have to talk about, unfortunately, which I did not want to, but mother, what is going on with this? Like, I was totally disappointed in the color story of these palettes, because I feel like she just keeps playing it safe and it's boring. It's like, for Valentine's Day, you should at least did something fun. So this is the Velvet Liaison. Shout out to my girl Dion. I actually like this one. It's just I put the whole set in here just to show that they were boring, not because I don't like the quality of them, but it's just boring, and that's disappointing after all this time and you keep expecting to spend all this money and it's boring. So this is what it looks like. She ended up finding this for me and sending it to me because I wanted to have a complete collection, because y'all know I review a lot of Pat McGrath, so these aren't going anywhere, but you know, like, I just wanted to complain about them being boring. Next I have Sublime Seduction, and this is what she looks like. Again, another boring one. Y'all know this is definitely not one I would be using at all, but I was like, let's just go ahead and get it for the video. You know, I'm here, it's here, we're all here, and I review Pat McGrath, so that's how I ended up with this one. But I'm really not that crazy about it either. Matter of fact, this whole collection is gonna stay here at my grandmother's house, and I usually keep my Pat McGrath at home. But lately I've been leaving more and more Pat McGrath here because it all looks the same lately, and it's just annoying. This is Iconic Infatuation. This is the one I was most excited about, and the one that let me down the most. Like, I don't know, like, the colors in here look really nice and like muted mauves that I felt like I could get down with, but when I actually put it on my eyes, I was not impressed with it at all. I actually like Velvet Liaison the best than what I got the last that Dion sent me. So yeah, but these were just a disappointment because I'm like, it's supposed to be Valentine's Day love and like all this gorgeous packaging, and it's not one red in any of these palettes. Like, I feel like she should get reds and purples and, you know, like the type of colors Natasha does in her palettes, because I feel like people would have appreciated that and they, you know, not expected it. So these are a disappointment for me. So this is more of a like disappointing makeup along with worst makeup of 2023. So those are all the things I had to talk about, y'all. I had some other things, but I wouldn't say they were necessarily the worst, so that I was truly disappointed in them because I had made them work. That's why you don't see them in here, because some stuff I've said throughout the year that I didn't like, but I found ways to make them work, so I figured there was no point in putting them in here. These things I couldn't make work or I just didn't like. So that's all I have to talk about with y'all today, child. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. Comment down below and tell me if you ran into any of these disappointing products. I hope you didn't, girl, but if you did, I'm sorry that I didn't tell you sooner. But be blessed, girl. Bye.